Welcome, I'm Dan Kaltenbaugh, Program Manager for Aeronyde's USS application. The next few minutes will demonstrate a few of the capabilities in our application. The application is primarily focused on Part 107 commercial drone operators. Once they have registered for account, they may log in and then start creating their own flight plans. For our first example, we use a historical marker. The operator plans on flying down the river, coming into the historical marker from the west. Heading back out to the west afterwards, it'll head south and then down around, avoiding populated areas to come back to the landing zone. You highlight the boundaries of the flight area using the boundary box and enter the duration, maximum altitude, and a short title that you can refer to later on. The next step is to validate the flight plan. There are several parts of the validation process. Part of these check the altitude, the time of day, and surrounding area to ensure that there are no special use airspace or restricted areas. There's also links given to the operators so that they can check any TFRs, special use airspace, NOTAMs, and weather for the area of operations. Once that is all complete, they can submit it to the FAA. Fortunately, in this case, the FAA allows any operations in controlled airspace that meet all the requirements to be automatically approved. You can see on the dashboard that we have the area of operations along with coordinates for the two parts of the operation. Operations at this time are limited to one per controlling facility, such as an airport. Since our total operation area encapsulated two controlling facilities, there are two operation entries. Each one has their own operation code. Once you have the auto authorization, you can also cancel flight plans from your dashboard. These will be sent to the FAA and then back to the dashboard to confirm. In addition to searching on locations, you can also home in on your current location and then do a flight plan from there. Notice that the area we are currently in has green lines. This indicates that the area is LAANC ready and the application is available for use. Once again, we draw the polygon, this time around Bird Island in Lake Jesup. The altitude and duration is set, along with a short description of the flight plan. In this case, we have selected an altitude of 250 feet, which exceeds the allowable altitude in this grid by 50 feet. The background boundary is now highlighted with an orange color to indicate it's such, and the submission requirement to the FAA will be what is called a request further coordination. Whereas anything in the green will be automatically processed, these must be manually processed by the FAA ATM and may take up to 90 days. You can see the progress of the FCR on your dashboard. Our next example will look at stadiums. Near Tempe, Arizona, we have Sun Devil Stadium. Notice the 3-mile ring around stadiums. NOTAMs prohibit the operation during stadiums when there is an event. In order to ensure you can fly around the stadium, you need to check the stadium schedule and stay outside of these restricted hours. The flight plan management the FAA has through the USS assumes that you have checked these and are flying in accordance with NOTAMs. The rest of the application remains the same. Moving over to New Orleans, we can see several airspaces altogether. The green indicates LAANC-ready controlled airspace. The slightly orange circle represents stadium airspace. The red boxes in the bottom right indicate LAANC not ready, so we cannot use the application there. And you'll also see during the validation that this is within a special use airspace. Our validation gives you the number of the special use airspace along with the link so that an operator can look up the airspace to ensure they are operating within proper restrictions. Once again, this is available on the dashboard. Our final example takes place near an Army base in Alaska. You can see the red airspace is restricted but the area to the south of it is in green, which is allowable under LAANC operations. The airspace entry we put in exceeds the maximum altitude in the facility map by 50 feet. So we'll go back in and change that to get this from orange to green. The benefit of this is that we avoid waiting on a manual review by the FAA. This all assumes that we do not need the extra 50 feet to successfully complete our flight operation. The operation was also during night hours, so we need to change that to daylight hours. Now that we have successfully changed it to daylight operating hours with an acceptable altitude, it is available to be submitted to the FAA for auto approval. That's the end of our video. Thank you for your time, and let us know if you have any questions about Aeronyde's USS application.